Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Unit 5, Day 5. In today's lesson, we're going to continue talking about the Pythagorean theorem. We're just going to be applying the theorem in a little different way than we did in the last lesson, okay? And so, if you will remember, the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? Where a and b are the legs of a right triangle. Okay, so A and B are the legs, while C is what is called the hypotenuse. And I always know where the hypotenuse is on the right triangle because it is the side that is away across from the right angle. Okay, and so in the last lesson, you were given the sides, and you were given two of the sides, and you were supposed to find the third one. Well, in this lesson today, you are now going to be given the square along each of the legs and the hypotenuse. And so we have this square, right? And we said last time that the area of the squares along the sides, along the legs, is equal to the area of the square along the hypotenuse, okay? And so I know there's no numbers on this diagram, but we can figure out what each of them are by using what's given, okay? And so the area of the square along the leg, if I count up those blocks, right, I'm going to discover that there are 9. Okay, so the area of that square along one of the legs is 9. And then the area of the square along the next leg is 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's 4 across, and it's 4 down. And if I counted that all up, I'm going to get 16. And then the area of the square along the hypotenuse, look, pause it, count it up, and then write it. Maybe you already know. All right, that area is 25, right? There's 25 blocks there. Okay, and so if I'm given the area of each of the square, my question to you, and that we're going to be discovering today, is, okay, if I know the area of these squares, how do I find the length of each of the sides? Okay, well, we said that the area of these two squared equals that one, so I know it's going to be 9 plus 16, that's how I get 25. But how do I find what the actual length of the side is? Well, to do that, and this is kind of the main point of today's lesson, is to take whatever that area is, and you have to do the square root of it, right? So the square root of 9 is 3, right? And so again, I could just count. This is 1, 2, 3. So the length of that side is 3, right? And then the length of the other leg, well, I do the square root of 16, okay? And the square root of 16 is 4, right? And again, I can confirm that because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then, same thing, the area of this square is 25, and I do the square root of 25, and that is going to give me 5, right? And so, again, I know in this case, you could have just counted the blocks, but sometimes, in all of the problems that we're going to see today, most of them they're not going to have the blocks. They're just going to give you the number, okay? And so what I was trying to show you is how to, if you're given the number, how to find the length of each of the sides, all right? So what we just did in this problem is what we're going to be doing in every problem today, all right? So let's look at some notes really quickly. And so, guys, listen, in each of these problems, you are going to be given, 2 out of 3 pieces of information that you need. And then you're going to have to find what's missing, okay? And so if you are given the area of the 2 squares that are along the legs, okay? And now, remember, I know that these are legs because the 2 legs, they are what make the right angle, okay? So the 2 sides that form the right angle, those are the legs, while what's across from the right angle is the hypotenuse. Okay, so that's how I know these are both along the legs. Okay, so if I have both of them along the legs, what I am going to do, if I have both that are along the legs, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to add it to this one in order to get C, right? So the area along A plus the area along B is going to give me the area along C. So we have to add here, right? Now, once I add, that's going to give me the area. So 144 plus 256, that is going to give me 400. So 400 meters squared, that is the area of the square along the hypotenuse. Okay, so I found the area. Now I want to know what is A, B, and C. Well, to find that, to find the length of each side, we have to take the square root. We have to take the square root, right? So if you will remember, A and B, okay, these could be interchangeable. I always just usually pick A as the first one, or the one closest, kind of going from left to right. So I'm going to say that this one is A, right? So to find A, if I know the area of the square is 144, to find A, I'm going to take the square root of that, right? Because again, I don't want the square, I want the side. I want the length of the side of the square. And that is going to be 12, right? And then to find B, right, I have the area, but I don't want the area of the square. I want the length of the side. So I'm going to do the square root of 256. And the square root of 256, can't think of that off the top of my head. And that's why knowing your square roots would be, is 16. So the square root of 256 is 16. So the length of that side, B, is 16. And then to find the to find the length of the hypotenuse, okay, I'm going to take the square root of the area of the square along the hypotenuse, which is 400. So the square root of 400 is 20. So the length of my triangle is 12, 16, and 20. All right. Now let's look at one more example. Okay, and now in this next example, this time I'm giving the area of the square along the leg and the hypotenuse. So in the previous, I had both legs and I was finding the hypotenuse. Now I have the hypotenuse and the leg. And you might be wondering, but Mr. Raymond, how do I know that that's the hypotenuse? Well, hopefully you know the answer to that question, but it is the hypotenuse because it is across from the right angle, okay? So it is across from the right angle. So this one is the hypotenuse. All right, so that would be C in this case. And then this is A, and this is B. All right, so C is always across from the right angle. Now, in order to get the area of this square, all right, the other leg, instead of adding, I am going to subtract. So I am subtracting, okay? And so I'm taking, because remember, the area of the legs equals the areas along the hypotenuse. But I have the hypotenuse, so I'm going backwards. I'm going from here, and I'm going to subtract. So to find the area of this one, I'm going to do 125 minus 100, okay? And that is going to give me 25. So the area of the square along the bottom leg is 25 kilometers, okay? Kilometers squared. We'll put that there, all right? And so now I have the area of each square, but now I need to know the side. I need to know the length of the actual legs. and the hypotenuse? Well, to do that, I'm going to take the area and I am going to find the square root. And when I do that, that is going to give me the length of the side, okay? So for A, I'm going to take the area and I'm going to square root it. So the square root of 100 gives me 10. So 10 is the length of this side. Then I'm going to take the area of the other leg, which is 25. I'm going to square root that. Square root of 25 equals 5. So the area of that one is 5. And then to find the length of the hypotenuse, I'm going to find the square root of 125. And the square root the square root of 125, this is a decimal, and when you get a decimal, it doesn't mean your answer is wrong. You're going to get more decimals when you're doing this. It is 11.18. All right? And so that is my answer. Okay, so what we have done is we've taken the areas of the squares along each of the sides, and we have been able to find everything else. We've been able to find the area of the other missing one as well as the length of each side. And so what you are going to do now is you are going to try this one. And then I also want you to try the next one, okay? And this is not written here, so I want you to go ahead and write this on your paper. Again, you're looking for the area of this one, and then you're looking for what is the lengths of A, B, and C. So make sure you write that on your paper. And I want you to kind of pause the video. I want you to do these on your own. And then, actually, you know what? I'm going to end the video there. Not going to actually walk you through. Once you are done with these, I want you to raise your hand and I will come and verify your answers before you move on to the Desmos activity. Hey, in this lesson, we've learned how to apply the Pythagorean theorem by, taking the area and finding the lengths of the legs and the hypotenuse. Thanks so much for watching.